Well, Dave, it is November now, man, and the end of the year is coming up quick.
Yep, coming into what I've referred to as the dark time as far as modeling goes. We'll see if we can keep that from happening this year.
Yeah, if it's been at the forefront of your mind now for 2 years this time of year, we need to start having a little strategizing on how to at least minimize it, because it's not going to go away.
Yeah, something maybe a special on using cranberry relish as a filler or something like that.
Maybe. Well, Dave, we've had a busy month since last time. Where have we been, man? We've been around.
Well, I unfortunately, without you, I ended up going, as we had previously planned, to the Cincinnati Scale Modelers Invitational Contest in Ohio at the Tri-State Warbird Museum. This is the one that you and I went last year to. And I've been going to Cincinnati so long, it's not funny. In fact, I was talking with Mike Ward, their president, or I think the president or vice president of their club, at the show, and was talking about having been going to the Cincinnati show for so long that my Pace Air booth I bought that at the Cincinnati show the first year that he came and vended. And I bought the biggest version that he had. And I had a Toyota Tercel at the time. And I had to jam that thing into the back seat of a Toyota Tercel to get it home. But man, it was worth it. Yeah, since you couldn't come, Skippy came along and acted as the, not mini mic, but substitute mic. And we had a fantastic time. I really wish you could have been able to go. This is the most fun I've had at an invitational show in a long time. First of all, vendors were fantastic. There were deals to be had, and I spent more than I planned on, but you know what? I got things I got some real deals. Jeff Groves was up there, and the Inch High guy, and he and I spent a lot of time sitting and talking. And then we ran into Barry Numerek and Barry's friend Bob, and there were a lot of really interesting model discussions, some of which I think will probably develop into themes for upcoming full episodes. We had a great time. The contest was fantastic because the weather was better this year than last year at the facility. They were able to open up some doors and move things around, airplanes around, and make more space so that the contest area was bigger and easier to view. Man, half of MMCL showed up there. Plenty of them entered. Plenty of them won awards. It was a great time. It was fantastic. And then afterwards, Skippy and I hopped over to Hofbrauhaus and ate and drank and had a great time.
Well, sounds awesome, man. I hate I missed it, but I wasn't completely off the map for model contests.
Yeah, tell me about this one in Greenville, Tennessee. I was telling people it was in North Carolina, but it was Greenville, Tennessee.
It's almost in North Carolina.
I knew it was.
Just over the ridge. But anyway, my oldest son was on his fall break, and they wanted to go down and see my folks, which I'm not going to. That's a good thing.
Yes, never pass up a chance to get together with your folks.
So I was going down to Tennessee that weekend instead of going to the Cincinnati show. Little bum, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, I was trying to have a meetup with Zach Grizzle. Anybody seen Grizz modeling on Facebook? He's pretty tight with the posse guys, and we saw him at Nats, but he's from Jonesboro, Tennessee, which is kind of between where my folks live and Greenville, where the show was. And we were going to try to go this thing together, but he ended up with a family obligation of his own, so that didn't quite work out. But I figured I'd go anyway because it's just about a 25-minute drive from my parents' house. So I went down there to the show held by the Appalachian Scale Modelers Association. Now, the club is actually based in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is my hometown, but Greenville's about 25 miles from there. And it was I think the first time they've had a show that they didn't have at like the local hobby town there in Johnson City.
Oh, okay. So they're growing.
They're growing, and they had about I'd say there's probably a dozen vendors there at least, of varying scope. And I ended up buying something. I found some stuff there. There were a number of entries on the table. Now they're not sanctioned yet, so they were probably a little limited in that way. But I think in talking to the folks working the front registration desk there, I was under the impression that they felt that it was a success. Now it was interesting because this community center in Greenville co-hosted it, which means they ended up under kind of their insurance umbrella, and the facility didn't cost them anything.
Nice.
So, and they've got tons of space, and the lighting in there was above average for a model show.
That's great.
So that's a clear winner. Now, it sounded like they're looking to incorporate with the IPMS come first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to reach back to them and see if there's any way I can help them get that going.
We can hook them up. I can guarantee it.
Because if they could get, in the IPMS rotation, there's going to be there's a club in Asheville, North Carolina, which is that's an easy commute for a model show, an invitational. Knoxville is.
Yeah.
Even Spartanburg, South Carolina is not bad. Chattanooga is not terrible. I mean, there's lots of clubs within, 3-4 hours that would probably make the trip.
Yeah.
They would travel as far as we have for an invitational for sure.
Sure.
So, man, we both got some shows in, just not the same one this time.
Oh, by the way, did you run into anybody, any listeners down at the show in Greenville?
Yes, there was some guys from Virginia that had gone up to the Roanoke show. Excuse me, I can't recall the names. But they said, yes, they had listened quite a bit, and they actually had listened on the commute back to Southwest Virginia from the nice show in Roanoke.
Yes,
from
it
what
is.
I understand.
Yeah.
I've never been to that one, but it sounds like a good time from what I gather everyone who's been there.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. And, I handed out a lot of decals, and hopefully we'll get some listeners out of it. And I wish those guys success. The timing being against Cincinnati, I don't know how it's going to work out in the future, but I hope to make it down there again once the show comes back around, and maybe it won't conflict. And who knows? I wish them all the luck.
That is one thing that IPMS USA can help with once they become a chapter and incorporate it into a region. One of the big things that IPMS USA does that most folks are unaware of because it kind of happens in the background is the regional coordinators and the director of local chapters work with chapters to make sure that no two chapters who are physically close to each other hold a contest on the same weekend. And that's really to everybody's benefit. And it's one of those things that IPMS USA does as a national organization that helps all of the local clubs make their show a success. So, yeah, we can get these guys into the IPMS USA fold, and you and I'll have to talk about that. At Cincinnati, ran into a bunch of listeners, of course, and handed out stickers, and I'm now completely out of coasters. I've got to get some more. One of our Patreons, Mr. Newman, stopped by and got to chat with him and make sure he had a sticker and coaster and thank him for his contribution. But yeah, there were let's put it this way, there were a lot of people looking for Mike.
Well, I appreciate that. So folks, get out and go to a show.
Yes.
Dave, we've got 2 episodes this month, and one of them's coming up right around the corner.
Yep.
And they're going to be good ones.
I love the idea for the one coming up. This came out of the blue, and the more I think about it, the more I just love this episode.
Well, I'll give a little bit of a teaser, a couple little teasers. Episode 76. We're having Evan McCallum back one more time. Or again, I won't say one more time. Folks like him being on the show, so do we. So, but we got something that's going to make it even more special. Are going to get the inaugural episode of what are we going to call it, Dave? The Prize Wheel of Doom.
The Wheel of Discussion, the Prize Wheel of Doom. Basically, we're branching out into a game show format.
So that's all we're going to say about that for now. So stay tuned, because that one's just around the corner, like at the end of this week.
Yes.
Episode 77. We're going to be talking about canopies and clear parts with Dr. Strangebrush.
This is a subject that I know everybody is going to find fascinating. Dr. Miller does a great job with his canopies, clear parts. I've long maintained, as far as aircraft goes, the first make or break item is the canopy and clear parts. That if you get that wrong, it's the first thing everybody notices. If there's a blemish, it stands out more than any other modeling error on an aircraft model. So this is one you're going to want to tune in for.
Well, it's timely too, because I got a listener mail we'll talk about in episode 76, a bulleted list, and it's all canopy and clear part questions. So
perfect timing.
It's perfect timing. So listeners, tune in to episodes 76 and 77 in November, and hopefully you're going to learn some good stuff. Well, Dave, why don't you give us a little rundown on what's been going on at the dojo?
Well, for a place that's existed for, I think, 60 days now, it's kind of happening. It's busy. Right now, we're as we record this, we're standing at 1,425 members. We've added 130 new members in the last few days. Some of the folks who are members are now sending out invitations to the modelers in their Facebook feed. Thank you for doing that. It helps us get exposure. Keep doing that. We're sitting at 1,425 right now. The next milestone is 1,500 and then 2,000. So we'll have to celebrate. In addition to numbers, more people means more activity. The place doesn't just exist. Listeners are posting. There is a ton of posting. I've been keeping informal track of it, and we're getting between 10 and 20 posts a day. A lot of interaction. If you're doing something on a model and you've got a question, it is a great hive mind for, products and techniques. So if you're at a point where you've got a question about something, post a picture and a short question, and you'll get a ton of feedback really quickly. I've been impressed by not only the quality of the models being posted, but I'll tell you, I've also been impressed by the variety. Everything from TJ Haller, the Plastic Posse podcast, posted a figure he's been doing, a 75 millimeter figure. That's just gorgeous. I mean, absolutely wonderful. To Ian McCauley, posted a photograph of car he's working on. We've got Gundams. We've got one of our female listeners posted photos of some Gundams that she had done and was doing. And that's a growing area, and there are a lot of folks doing that stuff. And it's nice to have people in the dojo who are doing it, who can answer questions for folks who are trying their first Gundam. So I'm really pleased not only by the amount of activity, but the breadth of the activity.
Well, the Gunpla poster was Rachel Regalado. She actually thanked you for mentioning joining a local club because she was at the Orange County show recently and ran into some club members from the IPMS chapter there and says she's going to be joining up. So
always
cool.
Happy to see that.
Well, Dave, until episode 76, we probably ought to get on out of here.
Go get back to the bench.
We got to get back to the bench, man.
You got it.
As we always say.
So many kits.
So little time.
See you soon.